Okay, good morning for my lecturer and my friends. My name is Luh Aprilia utami with ID number 21120210077. Now I will present material about using transition. What is transition? Transition are words or sentences that helps your audience understand the flow of your speech or presentation. They make it easy for your audience to follow along of your presentation. A transition is a signpost that tells the audience where you are going, just like signposts along the highway tell you which direction you are heading. A transition can be a single word or a phrase or even a sentence or two. It connects one idea to another and helps the audience follow along. Things that are obvious to you will not necessarily be obvious to your audience. Transition can help. Types of transition. There are many types of transition in a speech or presentation, and some of the most common including the overview, moving between main points, comparison of similar ideas, comparison contrasting ideas, expanding on a point, for emphasis, discussing consequences, and the last one to conclude. For the first, the overview. The overview, this transition is used to go from the opening of a talk, during which you should have grabbed the audience attention, to the main part. For example, today we will look at the reason for blah 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 and what we can do about it. In the next 45 minutes, I will share with you 4 ways that you can blah 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 blah. And last one, as a team, we need to blah 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 for the following 3 reasons. Moving between main points. These transitions are used to signal a change between one point and another. Too often, they are absent and the different points blur together. For the example, the first reason is blah blah blah, the second reason is blah blah blah, and the third reason is blah 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 blah. Now that we've seen the problem, let's see how we can solve it. Or, that was the past, let's look at what we have planned for the future. Next, comparison of similar ideas. Sometimes we will want to compare ideas that are the same or similar, and in here, a simple transition can help. For example, likewise, similarly, in the same manner, in the same way, and you can also see this. Comparison contrasting ideas. When comparing contrasting or conflicting ideas, transitions are important to signal a counter-argument. For example, however, but, on the other hand, on the contrary, nevertheless, or notwithstanding foregoing. Expanding on a point. If you use several reasons to support a point, transition expanding on points such are useful. For example, furthermore, in addition, on top of that, or also. For emphasis. When you reach a key moment in your presentation, it is essential that the audience understand how important it is. For example, and the most important reason is, most importantly, even if we put aside all the other reason, or above all else. Next, discussing consequence. If you are discussing a causal relationship between two things or events, you can use this transition. For example, therefore, as a result, as a consequence, or for this reason. Okay, and the last, to conclude. It is important to transition smoothly from the main body of your speech or presentation to the conclusion, depending on how long or covered. For example, in conclusion, in summary, to sum up, or I'd like to leave you with a word about team presentation. Transition in a team presentation are important and something that must be practiced. Why? Because the way in which a team performs on stage sends a signal to the audience about the cohesiveness of the team members. Alright, in this slide, we are going to discuss about the case point to cover in a transition to another speaker. Among others are a brief conclusion of your part, name and position of the next speaker. Okay, in here, if speaking to an audience of strangers, use the first and last name. Or if speaking to an audience that already knows the team, you can drop the last name and possibly the position. And the last one, brief statement about what they will cover. A good format is as follows. I've shown you about blah blah blah. I'd like to hand over to, you can say the name and position and to talk about blah 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 blah. Okay, for example, I've shown you the challenge that the new legislation poses. Levi Marsita, the head of our accounting department, will discuss the steps we've taken to adapt. Or example number two, now that you've heard the reason for the office move, I'd like to invite Gita, our logistics expert, to explain what we have to do next. Okay, that's all from my presentation about using transition. And if you have any question for me, you can ask in the comment column. Thank you.